From the XL Center in downtown Hartford, it's the 4th Connecticut Ice Tournament Championship. And for the 3rd straight year, it's the UConn Huskies and the Quinnipiac Bobcats. Hi, everybody. With Jody Ambrosio, I'm Randy Brochu. Thrilled to be here for the title game of CT Ice 4, Joe, as Quinnipiac looks to run it back for a 3rd straight year, and UConn looks for their first tournament trophy.
Huskies looking for a little revenge. They've lost in the finals the last 2 years to the Bobcats.
The UConn Huskies took care of business here at the XL Center yesterday against the Sacred Heart Pioneers and did so in style.
Against Sacred Heart, Samu Salominen electrified the crowd 235 in, playing the part of the entertainer with the Michigan goal. Samu had been in a scoring slump. That one certainly broke him out of it. And then after the game had been tied at 1, Hudson Shandor took over. Midway through the first period, a beautiful goal, unassisted on the play. And then a little bit later, 3.5 minutes later, it was Shandor again. His second goal of the game from Bradley and Richard. UConn jumping out to a 3-1 lead. With the game 3-2, East Haven's Nick Capone lit the lamp to give UConn a 4-2 lead. Then Jake Richard with the wraparound. UConn wins at 6-2, and for the 3rd straight year, they play for the CT Ice title. Here with UConn head coach Mike Cavanaugh. Since you've been here, you've talked about putting trophies in the trophy case. You get another chance tonight.
Yeah, we're excited for the opportunity. You know, it's playing Quinnipiac again for the Connecticut trophy, so we'll put our best foot forward tonight.
Biggest key to success for your squad tonight?
I think we got to manage the puck. They feed off a transition, so we cannot turn the puck over in the neutral zone or at the blue lines.
Should be a great environment. Good luck.
It's going to be awesome. Thanks, Joe.
As for the Quinnipiac Bobcats, they had their hands full last night with Yale, but they are the defending national champions. They're the 2-time defending champions of this tournament, and they have so much firepower as one of the top programs in college hockey.
Yeah, a little frustrated last night, I thought, Randy. They got a lot of pucks at the net. Jack Stark stood them on their ear. The big thing for Quinnipiac is that number 1 line led by the All-American Colin Graff. They haven't scored in 3 games. They may be due. That may not be good news for UConn. The defending champion Bobcats took the lead 12.5 minutes in. Mason Marcellus hitting double figures in goals for the season. Quinnipiac on top 1-0. These ECAC rivals played a physical game throughout, both teams dishing out the hits, but it was a relatively penalty-free game. Yale had plenty of chances, even though they only had 14 shots on goal, but Vinny Duplessis was more than equal to the task. Quinnipiac outshot Yale 36-14, but Jack Stark proved to be difficult, but at the end, it was Duplessis with his 4th shutout of the year. Quinnipiac plays for the title.
The old mall is alive in Hartford tonight for the UConn Huskies and the Quinnipiac Bobcats in the 4th Connecticut Ice Tournament. With Jody Ambrosio, Randy Brochu, this place is buzzing, Joe. There's a lot of excitement for the 3rd consecutive year. It's UConn and Quinnipiac, the Bobcats, The two-time defending champions of this tournament, UConn, looking for their first title in CT Ice.
Last time there's this much excitement here was that postseason game in 22 against BU when UConn won and punched its ticket to the Hockey East semifinals in Boston where they beat Northeastern. You get a look at the Quinnipiac huddle down to our left at the Ucello Street end of the building. Our players to watch, Quinnipiac's goal scorer last night, Nason Marcellus, one of several Bobcats in double digits with goals. And at the other end, it's Hudson Shandor, who's been on a roll as of late. Somewhat of a surprise in goal for UConn. Ethan Hyder, who had not played in the last 3 games. There's the Quinnipiac goalie, Vinny Duplessis. Our keys to the game, Quinnipiac, they want to attack. Their top line of Lipkin, Quillen, and Graff have been held scoreless in the last 3 games. And as far as UConn is concerned, Matthew Wood's got 1 goal in his last 12 games. He's got to get going, and the Huskies have to stay out of the penalty box. That is Ethan Hyder. He has not played in the last 3 games. Artseni Sergev has played well, but Mike Cavanaugh playing a hunch. Hyder familiar with Quinnipiac from his days at Clarkson. Ready to go. Here's Randy.
Thanks, Joe. Hudson Shandor and Jacob Quillen meet at center ice. CT Ice 4 is underway. The championship between UConn and Quinnipiac. Quinnipiac won last year 4-3 in Hamden when the Bobcats hosted. This year, UConn is hosting, and they are looking to knock off Quinnipiac, which has won the last 2. Their first CT Ice title, won over UConn 2-0 in Bridgeport 2 seasons ago. Of course, Quinnipiac, the defending national champions.
Vinny Duplessis, 1-1 against UConn while he was at Boston University.
The Huskies beat him in overtime up at BU last year. He bounced back the next night with a 5-2 win for the Terriers. Now a transfer goaltender for the number 7 team in the nation. And there's a chance early. Hyder makes the save on the redirect. Down low, Sam Lipkin looking for the rebound.
Left a juicy rebound out there, and Huskies were lucky that Lipkin didn't jump on it. So UConn's iced the puck now twice in 34 seconds. You look at Ethan Hyder. Watch this here, the shot from Moore from the point, and Bradley with a good back check to steer the puck away from Sam Lipkin. You look at Hyder's numbers on the season. He was the regular goalie for about 2 months and then hit a slump. Sergev got hot, but as we said, Mike Cavanaugh playing a hunch tonight.
Sergev beat Sacred Heart University yesterday to advance UConn to the championship. Quinnipiac, a 1-0 win against Yale last night. And these defensemen for the Quinnipiac Bobcats always active. Back for it at neutral ice. Ivari Rossinen chops it in. And the Huskies are in possession. Jake Flynn, co-captain of Connecticut, surveys his options as Rand Pecknold switches his lines. UConn Huskies 11-11-2. And again, Quinnipiac 16-16-2 in first place. In the ECAC, Tristan Fraser buzzing. Muldowney reaching for it, but it's knocked out to center. Sent back in by Flynn. And a turnover winding up. It's a drive high and wide by Joey Muldowney. Samu Salaminen throws it on. Duplessis makes the save.
Salaminen's opening goal, the Michigan goal, was all the rage of the press conference after the game, but Mike Cavanaugh said, guys were going crazy on the bench, and Cav said, we got 55 minutes, 58 minutes to go. As you see, a defenseman falls down, and Tattle rips one towards Duplessis. First offensive zone faceoff for UConn, and Salaminen, as good as anybody in the country, as is Travis Treeler.
Salaminen playing on a line with Matthew Wood and Jake Percival tonight. And here's Wood, the first-round draft pick of the Nashville Predators, fires it wide. Jake Percival down low for Salaminen, guiding it to Wood, pressured by Davis Pennington. As he moves it back to the point, that's Salaminen at the front, it got blocked. Trelar in on him. Percival finishes his check on Pennington, who sends it out. On the charge for Quinnipiac, Mason Marcellus. It slipped in front, picked up by Harrison Reese. He lugs it to center for UConn and sends in. Jake Fallu chasing it down, one of the many Connecticut residents playing in this Connecticut Ice Tournament from South Windsor. It's popped up towards the blue line. Lucas backs off as Traylor flips it out. It rolls just past Anthony Cipollone. And racing in, Nick Capone slips one into the middle. Andrew Lucas at the blue line throws one towards Jake Fallu, who tips it. Transition now for Quinnipiac. Cipollone over the line for Victor Charneski in air. Another Connecticut kid from Southington centering this line for Quinnipiac. Alex Power out of the corner. Moves it to Jake Martin at the point. He moves it over. Cooper Moore is offside.
That puck came out of the zone on the pass across the ice. So Wood had been playing center the last couple of games. Mike Cavanaugh sticking him back with two vets, Percival and Salaminin, to try to get him untracked. Both teams bring their top lines back on the ice. The Shandor line against the Quillen line.
And Shandor wins this draw, playing with Richard and Bradley up front. Chase Bradley chasing it down. This flips down to the UConn zone. Spets back for it, but it's icing.
This Quinnipiac team, 8th in the pairwise and among the nation's leaders in so many categories. 4th in goals per game, 2nd in goals against per game. They're elite at both ends of the ice. And that man, Jacob Quillen, will never have to buy a drink in Hamden after scoring the goal in the national championship game that won it for Quinnipiac.
Graf throws it in. I'm glad you referenced pairwise. This has implications pairwise for UConn. Hyder makes the save. Lee holds the line and moves it over. Somebody playing without a stick down low. It's John Spets. And Hudson Shandor is able to clear. Pascucci throws a check as the puck rolls to Fraser, who chips it out. Joey Muldowney chasing it down into the corner with Davis Pennington icing on the Huskies.
So UConn has dominated in the face-off circle. As you watch players falling like, I believe you called them duck pins.
Yes.
Last night. Here's Rand Pecknall, 30th year on the job in Hampton. 5-time ECAC Coach of the Year. He's got 631 wins, 615 of them since Quinnipiac went to Division I.
Puck tied up on the wall as Quinnipiac keeps it in the offensive zone, and Christophe Filion looks for the cycle. Reese wrestles his man. It comes out to Martin. Over to Pennington. His snapshot blocked, and Joey Muldowney feathers it out for Tristan Fraser. Onside, a chance. And getting back on the poke check, Jake Martin disrupts it. Ryan Tattle is steal. He shoots. Duplessis the save.
He had Muldowney on the initial rush coming down the left wing. He might have been better off passing it that time. But again, UConn putting the pressure on Duplessis. It'll be another offensive zone face-off for the Huskies. As watch, see lurking back there was Muldowney. Tattle, if Frazier could have gotten him the puck, he would have been in all alone.
Great crowd here on Hancho in Hartford. This is the energy, I think, when everybody imagined this tournament that they'd have here in the capital city, UConn hosting. This one sneaks through to Samu Salaminin. He can't handle. Travis Traylor able to work it deep. Hyder leaves it for Tomasinio, who works it up the wall. Legault gets a wrist shot through. Kick save by Hyder. Legault backs off. The puck out to center.
Traylor scored against the Huskies while he was a member of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Here's Matthew Wood.
Faced off.
Rather, Nick Capone. He rumbles in and finishes his hit. Marcellus wraps it deep for Quinnipiac. Ohio State came here early, a couple years ago, as Flynn sends it in.
Played a scoreless tie the first game. Ohio State won the shootout, and then UConn won on a Saturday afternoon 6-1.
Jake Falou throws a shoulder check at C.J. McGee, who angles it up the wall to Alex Power. Trying to slip past Hudson Shandor. Cherneskinar fires a wrist shot wide. Lee kicks it at the blue line, and it hops up into the corner. Rolling puck for John Spetz, who reverses to Jake Flynn. Back this weekend after missing last weekend with injury. Richard pestering away at Lee. Power protects the puck. Lee settles it in the Quinnipiac zone. He backs off Richard. This is Davis Pennington looking to start the play. Up to Sam Lipkin, top line out there for Quinnipiac. Lipkin, Quillen, and Graff. As dangerous as just about any line in all of college hockey. Quillen stopped on the back check, and Richard, who was flat-footed at center, got it deep. Tristan Fraser first on it. Fraser looking to nudge to Muldowney. This line has been a lot of energy for UConn this season. Ryan Tattle behind the net, centers blindly. It sneaks out to the blue line, and racing over to keep it. Lucas plays to Muldowney, into the middle for Fraser. It bounces back to Reese. He drives it, and they score! UConn strikes first. 1-0 Huskies.
The captain, Harrison Reese, in his 151st game. That's a UConn record. Jumps on the loose puck, winds up and blows it by Duplessis. And UConn takes the 1-0 lead, and it's so important because it not only gives UConn the advantage, it energizes this crowd.
There was a presence in front by Fraser. He was looking for a tip. At the very least, he certainly provided a screen. 1-0 UConn. And Joe, you mentioned what Harrison Reese has meant to this team. Such a consistent presence in there, and he will remember his 10th goal as a Husky, as the first one of the championship round of the Connecticut Ice Tournament. He is credited with a goal.
Only the 8th time this year that Quinnipiac has given up the first goal.
That's number 27, Reese.
They completely outshot Yale yesterday, but settled for 1 goal. It was good enough to advance them to the championship.
And even though that goal, Randy, is unassisted, it comes off UConn pressure. Forced the puck free, and Reese made the right decision. You know, when you play against a team as high-powered as Quinnipiac, the defensemen have such a tough decision whether to go after the puck or stay back and protect. Reese made the right call there, and it's 1-0 home team.
Capone went for the hit on Filion. Moore enters the zone for Quinnipiac. Filion throws it in front. The puck rolls around after a block. Valou able to clear it. This Quinnipiac team is talented and conditioned as anybody in college hockey. They play fast and force you to play to their speed. UConn has come out certainly with the ability to match it early in the first period.
Goal was unassisted for Reese. Just his second this year at 6:59. As you look at Vinny Duplessis, the former BU Terrier, having a terrific season. Both goaltenders for Quinnipiac have played so well this year. Second nationally in fewest goals allowed, and the first goal they've allowed this weekend.
The Huskies control off the defensive zone win. There's Nick Capone from East Haven, Connecticut, sending it in deep. Played by Trelar out to center. Quinnipiac looking to regroup. Chase Bradley lets it roll past him. He gets it back and can't catch it clean. A loose puck at center. Bradley looking to force the turnover. He falls down, but works it deep where Marcellus is able to play it safely to Martin. Up to Tellier. Christophe Tellier snaps the pass, one-handed forward by Marcellus, who goes to get it in the corner. Quinnipiac looking to cycle. Traylor spins away from Bradley. Spets there and supports for UConn. Marcellus settles a rolling puck. Traylor moving it over, left side, Rossinen back down low. He sends Christophe Tellier on the chase. Bradley playing 200 feet down there, but taken away by Marcellus. He snaps the pass out high. Pennington shooting wide through a screen. And Shandor's on it. Shandor finds an open man, cruising in on the right. Andrew Lucas going wide, throwing it in front, and defended away by Traylor. Jake Flynn chased by Sam Lipkin. Lipkin heavy on the forecheck. Flynn with a hard out past Graff. Colin Graff right back in. Top 10 Hobie Baker candidate last year. And producing big time this year, coming into the weekend averaging 1.72 points per game. Here's Lee, throwing it across, deflected by Massinio, and poked out to center. Joey Muldowney racing for the puck, Tattle calling for it. Muldowney holds. He spins to his forehand. Muldowney looking for anybody open. It's Harrison Reese, another shot wide from the point. Flipped out by Filion. Loose at center, gathered by Graff.
That was almost a shot pass, I thought, by Reese that time. Looking for a tip in front that wasn't to be.
Pennington did not have center when he tipped that pass from Graff. It's icing on Quinnipiac, and will bring the faceoff down by Vinny Duplessis.
Shots are 4-3 in favor of UConn, but I would say the territorial advantage has clearly been the Huskies over the first 10 minutes and 19 seconds, and they've got another offensive zone faceoff.
Samu Salominen taking on Zach Tupcar, and as you mentioned, Joe, Samu's been terrific in the faceoff circle. The New Jersey Devils draft pick, 58% from the circle.
By far the best on the UConn roster.
Jack Pascucci races to a loose puck to play it behind the net for Jake Percival, who snaps it up the wall. Filion intercepts, and it's out to center. Tellier chasing Reese as he hits Percival, then on to Samu Salominen, poked off his stick. The back check by Serbone. Pascucci pressured by Serbone, flipped up the glass, it's out. Kick to Wood, over the line with a drop pass to Percival. He puts the spins on, throws it to open ice. Andrew Lucas jumping up on the play. Lucas goes down, keeps fighting for the puck, right back to his feet, nudging it Percival's way. Matthew Wood runs into his own teammate Percival, but moved it to Salominen for a drive and a save by Duplessis.
It's a good start for the home team looking to win their first Connecticut Ice title. Harrison Reese puts UConn on the board. Huskies won. Bobcats nothing here on SNY.
You gotta watch what's on the board.
$8:50 to go here in period number one. A huge crowd on hand here at the XL Center. There's Mike Cavanaugh, who has been pretty imperative on where he wants this tournament to be played when the current cycle of playing at all the schools' arenas is done. Cav left no stone unturned. He thinks this should be the eventual permanent home of the event.
And when you take a look around and feel the energy today, Joe, I think it's a pretty good case. The fans have made a great case. They've come out here on a Saturday night in Hartford with Jake Black shooting it wide. Jake Flynn sending it back to Jake Black. Nick Capone chasing it. This means a lot to the players on both sides, especially the kids from Connecticut, but everybody. Here's a drive on goal on a turnover. Jake Flynn stopped by Duplessis. John Spetz to Jake Flynn. He gains center and fires in. Rossinen back for Quinnipiac. Pestered. Capone takes it away and backhands a pass in front. Rossinen intercepts and lobs it to center. Glove down by Marcellus, who spins a pass to Tellier. A backhand pass in front intercepted by Black. Given back to Capone, who sweeps it out. 8 minutes left. First period, Harrison Reese with the first goal of the game to make it 1-0 UConn. Give and go, back to Quillen. Rolling one towards Hyder. He gobbles it up.
Nonchalantly scoops that puck up. So it'll be a defensive zone face-off for UConn. We want to say hi to one of our friends, one of our favorites, Lisa Lowry, a little bit under the weather, watching at home with her husband, Dan. Lisa, see you soon. Hope you feel better quickly. So the face-off will be to the left of Ethan Hyder as the Quillen-Lipkin-Graf line is out. They haven't scored in 3 games. First time this year that's happened for that prolific trio.
Lee snaps one just wide. There's so much talent on that line for Quinnipiac. It only feels like a matter of time. Here's Lee shooting. He goes high and sends it over the bar. Pennington able to hold the line. Sweeps it back down low for Quinlan. Up the wall, intercepted by Muldowney. They call this the 8-9-10 line for UConn. Guess why? Ryan Tattle out there wearing number 9. Of course, Joey Muldowney, number 8. Tristan Fraser, number 10. But that line has brought great energy when they are a trio together.
Put back together tonight. They didn't play together last night.
Oh, here's Graf. He shoots, blocked by Reese. Graf comes off the half wall so quick. He's going to spin one in front. Almost a double tip down there with Chernesky and R on the back post. Lucas able to open up some space for Tattle. Ryan Tattle to center for UConn. And we get a stoppage with 6:50 left in the first. High flying action early, great pace between the Quinnipiac Bobcats and the UConn Huskies in the CT Ice Championship.
Contact. Nick Capone playing the body. Huskies playing with confidence, leading 1-0 with just under 7 minutes to play here in period number 1.
One 0 UConn here in Hartford. The Huskies lead the Bobcats in the Connecticut Ice Tournament Championship, although Quinnipiac has enjoyed this head-to-head series that dates all the way back to the MAC and Atlantic hockey days for Quinnipiac.
They've won 7 straight, including the last 2 CT Ice finals. Inadvertent whistle by one of the referees, so the face-off at center ice.
The Huskies win it. John Spetz takes a look. Quinnipiac so sound structurally, power, aggressively on the forecheck, backs off. Now it's Chernetsky and R chasing down Flynn, and that trap forces the turnover. Chernetsky and R, a toe drag and shot. Spetz blocks it out of play.
So much speed at so many different positions, as you mentioned. That's Victor Chernetsky and R out of Southington, one of the Bobcats' several Connecticut players. They've got 5 from the Nutmeg State on their roster. UConn has 7.
Face-off slightly favoring UConn. For this draw in the defensive zone for the Huskies, won by Salaminin. he pulls it back from Tupcar. And look out in the UConn bench. That clear by Messinio ends up there.
So the game has slowed down a little bit since the rather frantic pace at the beginning, and UConn's fine with that. You know, this high-powered Quinnipiac offense, try to keep them under wraps. He's one of the best defensive forwards in the country, and Zach Tupcar. Transfer from Cornell.
Another face-off win by UConn, but Serbone steals the outlet by Messinio. Salominen clears. Legault gives to Rossinen. It's trickling across the middle for Serbone. For Huskies back. Salominen sends it Woods' way. He goes into the corner with Rossinen. Alexis Legault. Big rugged 6'3" right shot defenseman. Up the wall. Lucas holds the zone for UConn. Now Lucas looking to turn a corner on his off wing. Chased by Tupcar. Lucas centers for Salominen. Intercepted by Rossinen. Rossinen, also from Finland, takes that one away. Salominen, also from Finland. Well, maybe some familiarity between those two. He took away the pass. Lee rolls it into the UConn zone, and Reese sweeps it up. A stretch feed for Heaslip. Off the mark. Here's Graff over the line for Quinnipiac. Graff shoots. It's wide. Karam's in front. Backhanded out of trouble by Reese, but Lee holds to Graff. Here they go. Quillen slips it down low. Reese takes it away. Heaslip calling. The stretch pass sends him on. Left wing wrist shot save Duplessis with Pennington back.
Heaslip was waiting for that one, and rather than wait and have Quinnipiac close out on him, he decided to take the shot. Duplessis made the save. It'll be an offensive zone faceoff. Ethan Hyder and UConn lead Quinnipiac 1-0 in the finals of CT Ice here on SNY. Huskies last night, a 6-2 win, Randy, getting a little national publicity for their exploits.
Yeah, they did so in style. They took the lead with Samu Salominen going up over the 6'6" goaltender with a Michigan lacrosse-style goal. It was sweet for Salominen. Number one play on SportsCenter. Hudson Shandor with a nifty between the skates. One-time snapper. That pass a little bit behind him. He got creative, but he knocks it in. 2 of the top 10 plays yesterday. Goals by UConn. In a championship game, though, Joe, you'll take whatever you can get. Greasy goals, crash the net. This is a title on the line for the Bobcats and the Huskies, and so far the pace has been terrific here in this championship game. Messinio chased by Graff as Lucas sends it to the perimeter. C.J. McGee pinching, keeps it along the wall. Jacob Quillen gets knocked down by Flynn, but Lipkin steals it. Lipkin with a look. His shot blocked by Messinio and cleared by Tattle. Up into the air, McGee back, slipping inside. Muldowney shoots and it goes wide. Duplessis might have gotten a piece. Tattle to Fraser, backhanding a pass across to Muldowney. Back down low looking for Fraser. One-handed away from him by Pennington. Traylor gets the support from Tellier. Quinnipiac revs it up. Moore. They drop it. 2 men going to the net. The shot is wide. Bradley's on it. He's got a 2-on-1 the other way with Richard. Bradley sauces. Richard drops it. Shandor knocked down on the back check. Tellier takes him out. Marcellus pulls up on the blue line. The delay slipping it the way of Jake Martin. Lucas knocks it back to Spetz. Up the wall, Shandor. Tellier keeps the zone for Quinnipiac. Behind the net, Traylor. Fires a pass out to Pennington. Rossinen rather with a shot, that's wide. John Spetz quickly up the wall for Bradley. And Bradley flips it into the Quinnipiac bench.
UConn's done a good job of getting behind the Quinnipiac defense that time. I almost think Shandor, as you look at this huge crowd on hand here tonight, I almost think Shandor lost his footing a split second before the Quinnipiac player made contact with him. Face off at center ice.
And the other thing is this Quinnipiac team works so hard and is so fast, their back-checking ability. You've got a 2-on-1 and want to get creative and get the third man involved. Quinnipiac's probably going to be there because they commit to using their speed to their advantage in all three zones of the ice. Reese snaps it back in. And Duplessis leaves it awkwardly. Matthew Wood drop pass for Salaminin. And he shanks the shot. Duplessis somewhat careless on playing that puck. Wood almost turned it in to an opportunity for Salaminin.
Looked like he was taking a walk to the Russian lady there.
It is Saturday night in Hartford,
It is,
after
exactly.
all. Wood looking to force another turnover. He sweeps a pass to Percival. Jake Percival finds Harrison Reese. Down low, Capone shoots one off the side of the net. And then Percival finishes his check. Here comes Capone rumbling in on Jaden Lee, the Quinnipiac captain. Icing on the Bobcats.
Goal judge got a little excited there. Turned on the red light for a millisecond, and then it came off. But UConn certainly creating lots of opportunities. Samu Salaminin, and there you see Matthew Wood. He struggled. One goal in his last 12 games, but Randy, he's got a little extra pep in his step tonight, playing with Percival and Salaminin, and back on the wing where, frankly, he's more comfortable.
Certainly with a very good playmaker in Salaminin and Percival, the kid from Avon, Connecticut, has been a real spark since he arrived on campus. Serbone takes it away from Messinio, and he loses a handle on it. Messinio slides it the other way. Valou looking to one-hand it along, but a turnover. Tupkar's in for the Bobcats, going wide on Lucas. Shooting one, saved by Hyder. The rebound's in the paint, and now the whistle comes.
Ethan Hyder was down on his belly. He made sure he grabbed a hold of that. Tupker in front, being muscled by Messinio. And Nick Capone not letting Tupker get a chance at the rebound. Shots even at 8 apiece. Ethan Hyder getting the nod in goal tonight, although our Jenny Sergev has been the hot goalie, but Hyder with experience against Quinnipiac during his years at Clarkson, where he was 3-4-3 against the Cats.
Bradley able to lift it out and send Richard on the chase. Jacob Quillen avoids the hit of Chase Bradley, who looked to line him up. Spetz moves it forward. Richard had center to avoid icing. Getting late here in the first period, 1-0 UConn. Jake Richard snaps it to Bradley. 4 assists yesterday. A dangle behind the net. A self-pass off the back of the net. And then a steal by Sam Lipkin. And then Bradley hits him and takes it away and slides it down low to Richard. Out in front. It gets bounced back to Flynn, who loses it. Transition here for Quinnipiac, and Hyder makes the save on Lipkin. Lipkin back to the trailer. Cooper Moore stopped by Ethan Hyder. What pace here in the first period of the title game in CT Ice 4.
Huskies got caught running around a little bit there. Lucky Quinnipiac didn't get a better look at goal. Here comes Tattle.
And it's taken away from him by Travis Trelar on the back check. 20 seconds to go in the first period. Tellier over the line for the Bobcats. He rolls a pass into the middle. Unable to be handled by C.J. McGee. 10 seconds to go in the period. Fraser looking to tie it up on the wall. Marcellus looking to pull it free. It rolls back. It's Tellier down low, and that's the first period. And man, that was a fun first period.
high level of skill and speed in the opening 20 minutes. Shots now 9-7 in favor of Quinnipiac. Only one found the back of the net. The captain, one of the captains, Harrison Reese, with a one-timer at 6:51. As you see from the top of the face-off circle to beat Duplessis. Puck it off a couple of Quinnipiac sticks, which is why it's an unassisted goal. Stay tuned here on SNY. During the intermission, we'll take a look at the Hockey East men's and women's plays of the week. 1-0 UConn leading Quinnipiac.
Saves on 16 shots. Saves on 16 shots. An opportunity to allow just one goal per game for the second time. Celebrini, the backhand, he scores. Give him 3 goals this weekend and a share of the top of Hockey East scoring charts. The freshman sensation this time gives BU their 5th goal. That counts.
And he's with Lautenbach up front. And that another deflected shot. And the puck can't be kept in by Borghese. Here's a 2-on-1 chance, short-handed. O'Hara in front. Lautenbach scores a short-handed goal. His second of the year, and it's 1-0. The UMass Minutemen lead.
Yeah, well, we talked a lot about freshmen. This time it's 2 upperclassmen for UMass that connect on the short-handed goal. And first, the turnover high in the offensive zone.
Side of the right circle, knocked off his stick, and Lyndon Breen comes the other way shorthanded. Breen has Houle with him, finds Houle, score! Donovan Houle, a shorthanded far down goal. 8:31 to go.
State, one of 3 grad transfers on this Boston College roster. That still is the youngest in college hockey. Perreault is onside, and Perreault makes it 3-0. Gabe Perreault, who is now first in Hockey East in points this year, scores his 7th of the season, his 33rd point, And the Eagles are
BC transfer this year, Jamie Armstrong.
Never see it.
Salmon in, first save made, and to get across the goal line, no! It stayed out and we stayed tied. I don't know how that one didn't creep across the red paint.
That looked like that pocket.
Action as that one is roofed. Kirchmeier blasted right over the shoulder of Larange. What a rip from Reichen Kirchmeier, and the Friars lead 3-1.
Yeah, this is a great lifted shot as well. So extending the lead by 2. Kirchmeier with both of the Friars goals in today's game. This one comes differently than the first. You know,
Pellerin in on the breakaway. Pellerin scores! 2-goal game for the freshman. Ninth goal of the season for Julia Pellerin. Came in and 1 goal 9 of the last 9 games. And now 2 goals tonight as Pellerin goes forehand, backhand, right back.
Bounces off the wall, back center to Habish. Chipped up and in. 2-0 Connecticut. What a feed, what a finish. The Huskies building on their lead here in the first period.
Jada Habish, we highlighted her in the opening, just saying what a revelation she's been, especially getting into conference play, one of the top 5 scorers in Hockey East. And it doesn't always have to be 100 miles an hour, just got to find the back of the net. You got enough on it to elevate that.
Contact coming out of the box. Don't want to get caught in transition. Opportunity here. The freshman Lulu Rourke on the breakaway to finish and a score. Lulu Rourke puts the biscuit in the basket. Second goal today for Rourke. And Holy Cross not going anywhere soon. Making a game of this one with 17:01 left.
Second intermission, first intermission, 1-0 UConn with the lead over Quinnipiac. I don't want to rush things. This is too good,
Been
Joe.
too much fun. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
Yeah, the energy is absolutely incredible inside the XL Center for
Would
the
you say it's
championship
electric?
game. I would say it's electric.
All right, okay.
It is, and it was a charge opening 20 minutes with Harrison Reese scoring the game's only goal to make it 1-0 UConn.
Yeah, watch it. They added assists on the play to Frazier and Muldowney. There's Joey Muldowney with the puck. Gets it, Frazier with a little tip back. Reese one-times it from the rim of the face-off circle. Beats Vinny Duplessis for Harrison Reese. The game's first goal in the game that sees him become the UConn player that has played the most games in Huskies history. Pretty even first period, a clean first period, both teams staying out of the penalty box, as you can see. UConn with 8 blocks, 9 saves for Ethan Hyder, so Mike Cavanaugh's hunch has paid off thus far. Hudson Shandor was brilliant in the face-off circle. He won 6 of 7 in the first period, so really as good a 20 minutes of hockey, Randy, college hockey, as you can expect. I know a lot of people talking BCBU, but this game doesn't take a backseat to anybody thus far. I know you were saying that between periods.
Absolutely. The energy totally incredible inside the XL Center as UConn looks for their first Connecticut Ice Championship and Quinnipiac looks to win it for the 3rd straight time here in the first year of the tournament at the XL Center, where there is so much rich history and some championship pedigree.
Hartford unable to convert. Hollinger lost the stick, it broke, threw it down. Now he'll try to tie up the man. Disadvantage here for the Bruins as Hollinger is without a stick. Puck given away. Shot comes in through a screen. Save made by Graham. Rebound. Murchison is on the skate and scores! Hartford wins it in overtime. It went up Peter Ferraro. The Wolfpack advances to the Calder Cup Finals.
That's Terry Virtue scoring the overtime winner in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals in May of 2000 for the Hartford Wolfpack en route to their Calder Cup Championship. So much rich history here in the old mall, and a new chapter tonight as UConn and Quinnipiac play for the title of Connecticut's best.
Let's see how the lines match up. For most of the first period, Mike Cavanaugh pitted the Bradley, Shandor, Richard line against Quinnipiac's top line. As you get a look at the history of Connecticut Ice next year at the new arena on the Sacred Hearts campus, then at Ingles Rink. And as I was saying, he matched Shandor's line with the Quillen line, but he also played Tattle, Frazier, and Muldowney against him a couple times as well. It's the Frazier line against the Tupker line as we get underway in period number 2.
And Fraser sends it deep. Cooper Moore back for Quinnipiac. Jaden Lee for the Bobcats. With some pressure coming from Fraser, plays it to the wall. And now Lee looks to break it out. Jaden Lee, graduate senior from North Vancouver. This rolls in front of Hyder, swept out of harm's way by Lucas.
Puck
Moore.
took a crazy bounce off the boards there.
We've seen some funky bounces
Yep.
this weekend. Muldowney going to the net. Tattle carrying it wide for UConn and trying to slip through a check. Knocked to the ice by Filion. Jacob Flynn swings and misses. And here comes Tupcar in a foot race. He pulls up on the wall and backhands a pass into the middle. Filion back checked. And he couldn't get the shot away.
I think Hyder poke checked that away.
He knocks that one away for sure. To the wall where Legault plays it back down low to Tupcar. Centering a pass for Filion. Pulled free by Muldowney. And he hits Bradley with a pass. Cross ice to Shandor. A chip for Bradley up the wall. He shoots. Short side. Shoulders save. Vinny Duplessis.
A little nervous Nelly time there for UConn defensively as the puck squirted free on the rush by Zach Tupker. And Hyder kind of pitchforked the puck out of there a couple different times. And UConn gets a defensive face-off as it's mano a mano, Shandor's line against the Quillen line.
Shandor to Bradley, and he rolls one to Duplessis. Gets spun around, but ultimately covers it.
Davis Pennington taking exception to Chase Bradley's poke at the puck, and one of the officials talking to Chase. Our referees, Jim Curtin, Jeremy Tufts, the fabulous Briganti brothers, Kevin and Nicholas, our linesmen tonight.
I love when you introduce them. Quillen and Shandor on the draw. Shandor wins it with help from Bradley. Back to Lucas shooting. Duplessis makes the save. And that was a tough one with Shandor in front looking for the tip.
I don't think anybody knew where the puck was, including Duplessis. As you watch, nice shot by Lucas. Gets on goal. Shandor was there waiting for the rebound that never came. So another defensive zone faceoff as Mike Cavanaugh gets the Salomon Percival Wood line out on the ice.
That's why Lucas is such an effective defenseman. 11 points this year. His ability to delay and shoot through screens and get pucks on goal. Jake Flynn snaps the pass on. Jake Percival. Driven to the corner by Pennington. And transition for Quinnipiac as Traylor backhands the pass. Quinnipiac on the charge. That's backhanded in front for Traylor. Lee steps into a bomb and a block by Jake Percival, who loses his glove, selling out, sacrificing, and racing to the bench. Marcellus right back in for Quinnipiac. He shoots. Glove save, Ethan Hyder.
Percival in a little pain as he goes back to the bench. Head athletic trainer Eddie Blair taking a look at Jake, but he appears to be none the worse for the wear. Watch this here, watch this as he sells out. Yeah, that's gonna hurt in the morning. It probably hurts right now too.
If you wondered what this game means to these players, and especially a young man from Avon, Connecticut, who grew up playing for the Farmington Valley Generals in the Junior Wolfpack, the opportunity to play in front of this ruckus crowd for a championship against Quinnipiac, two-time defending champions of this tournament. That'll tell you right there. Jaden Lee sends it in for the Bobcats as Shandor absorbs the hit from Quillen, and Moore throws it Graf's way. Back on the point, it's Quillen behind the net as Lee jammed it there. Along the goal line, Lucas hits Bradley, who chips to Shandor, who now backhands a pass to open ice. Lucas carrying in. Down the wall, he shoots, and that rises high and wide. Messinio at the blue line for the Huskies. Back down low for Shandor. Moore tipped that pass. And a battle along the wall. It's Lucas back at center, sending in and going for the change. Cooper Moore slides it over to Jacob Quillen. He pitchforks it in. Nick Capone in front of the penalty box area. Poke checked. Valou fans on his first dump in attempt. And they are offside. He slipped and got poke checked as he tried to enter. It came out, and then Valou carried it back in.
Several Huskies on the bench, not enamored with the call by one of the Briganti brothers, but it looked like the puck may have crossed all the way over the blue line, so the faceoff just outside the zone. Neutral zone faceoff featuring Nick Capone.
What do you think? Ooh, I don't know when you look at that replay.
Close.
Rossinen for Quinnipiac. Able to send it deep where Pascucci backhands it to Reese, then on to Heaslip, and he jams it out. Heaslip hops on it at center, sends it in over the stick of Duplessis. John Spetz back for the Huskies. His pass to Pascucci tipped the length of the ice, and Pascucci did not have center, so he's got to come back onto the ice. He was going for a change. It's icing on UConn.
So the faceoff will come down to the right of Ethan Hyder, getting the start tonight after Arseny Sergev had taken over the starting role for UConn.
Tupker and Capone jousting away. Capone and Tupgar take a couple whacks at each other as Filion slips it for Cipollone, shooting just wide. Tupgar digging on the goal line. Hyder tucks the pad inside the post, and Capone continues to go at it.
Boys will be boys. Nick Capone never adverse to use his physicality as he gets caught behind the goal line in a bit of a skirmish, but no penalties are assessed and will stay 5-a-side. 4 minutes into the second period, UConn on the strength of the Harrison Reese goal, holding on to the 1-0 lead. Let's get a look at this here, as here's Filion, goes behind the goal. Here's Capone as Hyder holds for the faceoff. Look out. Referee almost took one off the melon. As you get a look at it again, Tupker and Capone exchanging pleasantries.
Well, we've seen the official get hit by one puck that went in the net.
Right.
Yesterday's game involving UConn and Sacred Heart disallowed. It's Traylor set up. Marcellus trying to pull it back to him, but Spets for UConn clears it, with Fraser winning the draw. Traylor dangles, but Fraser takes it away from him. C.J. McGee back for Quinnipiac. Tellier shovels it on for Traylor. Poke check by Flynn. Traylor carries in for the Bobcats. Shooting just wide of the blocker's side. Flynn picks it up, sends it out. Muldowney feathers one on. A chance for Tattle. Kick save, Duplessis. He keeps it a one-goal game.
Once again, UConn getting behind the Bobcats defense, and that time Tattle in alone, and Duplessis said, not on my watch.
Now Matthew Wood revs it up. He drops off to Salomon and give and go back to Wood, shooting. That one wide to the near side. Hyder to play it. Out of net, up to Messinio. Salomon back in the defensive zone. Absorbs a shoulder check from Graff. Moore looks to kick the puck into the skates of Quillen. Jaden Lee up the glass and just past Reese, who had hopped over the boards. Here comes Graff, hot on his heels. Spets up the wall. Percival back on the ice after blocking that shot last shift on Jaden Lee's big bomb. Good to see Jake Percival back as he came off clearly affected by that shot, but back on the ice.
You see Tattle in alone, tried to go stick side, and Duplessis kicked it away. You know, we've talked so much about Graff and Quillen and Lipkin. Graff in the first period got one shot on goal. Quillen got one. Lipkin got two.
Power goes wide off the win by Cherneskianar. Spets kicks that centering pass, and Wood lifts it up the wall. Thrown right back in by Charles Alexis Legault. Here's Cipollone, sending it back up the perimeter to Legault. Over to Roskinen. And that goes off of Jake Percival and is a souvenir.
Shots all even, unofficially at 11 apiece. Face-off 16-15 in favor of a Quinnipiac team that's usually pretty solid on the dot, as is UConn. As we mentioned on yesterday's broadcast, it's a facet of the game that UConn's gotten much better at as the season's gone on. But Quinnipiac, they're 9th nationally in face-off percentage.
They do just about everything very well. They were as high as number 3 in the nation before losing last weekend at Colgate and Cornell. Now number 7. And they won against Yale yesterday, an ECAC league game, so they gained 3 points to increase their lead atop the ECAC. Tupgar going wide on Flynn. Tupgar gets lined up and run over by Chase Bradley. Bradley keeps it on the edge and flicks it to the corner. Lucas slowly to Richard. The Huskies struggling to get it out. Roskinen gets run over by Bradley, which leads to a turnover. Richard dropping for Shandor. He gets poke checked. And Roskinen looks to lead the charge. Heaslip intercepts. Richard, they're offside. So they got a tag up, delayed offsides. Now they're good. 13 minutes to go in the second. Quinnipiac in possession. Legault, a draft pick of the Carolina Hurricanes. Slowly to Roskinen. And Roskinen stretch pass, tip deep. Hyder leaves net. That puck is loose. The Bobcats score! On the turnover, Marcellus, who scored their first one last night, ties it for Quinnipiac.
Hyder wandered too far behind the goal. As watch it here, Hyder can't play the puck. Comes out in front, wide open for Marcellus. His second goal in as many nights. And we are tied at one. Traylor put the puck in front. And Randy, that's a disappointing way for Quinnipiac to tie the game if you're a UConn fan.
A turnover behind the net by Hyder. The net wide open, and Marcellus knocks it in. Now a steal by Black out in front for Heaslip. Looking to force a turnover, and McGee takes a swing.
Pennington too.
He went after Black, and they all get separated. The Huskies nearly forcing a turnover by Duplessis, but the Bobcats swarm their crease and take away the opportunity for Heaslip.
And Heaslip's going to go to the penalty box, much to the chagrin of this big crowd. Quinnipiac will be on the power play when we come back. We're even at 1 here on SNY and UConn Plus. Now the Bobcat mascot feeling a little bit better about life. Quinnipiac with the ice hockey cheerleaders, which you don't often see. So Tabor Heaslip gets 2 minutes for goaltender interference, and that will unleash the Quinnipiac power play.
It's a good one, but Bradley pokes it away. A shorthanded breakaway. He scores! A shorty for Bradley, and a 2-1 lead for UConn.
Chase Bradley has been far and away UConn's best player this season, and he showed it there. On the breakout, Bradley blocks the pass, cuts down, rips one, in. Bradley with the celebration, the second shorty for UConn this season, and just like that, the Huskies jump back on top by a score of 2-1, 18 seconds after Marcellus had tied the game for Quinnipiac.
He ranked just about every part of the posts of that net. Top right corner to left corner, and twine for Bradley.
His 10th goal of the season.
What a season he's had. Now Christophe Tellier over the line for Quinnipiac. He throws it into the circle. Tellier now to Pennington. Quinnipiac looking to rebound after that quick shorthanded goal by Chase Bradley. Gives the Huskies a 2-1 lead. Marcellus feeds it down low, gets it back and shoots. Blocked by Reese. It pops up in the air.
Hit the twine.
By Filion.
Or the goalie came off, the pipe came off again.
You should take a look at the Bradley goal. The long reach of Chase Bradley forced that turnover. And Chase Bradley, a draft pick of the Detroit Red Wings, with a go-ahead shorthanded goal. 1:23 left on the Quinnipiac power play. Tellier slides it up the wall. Bradley intercepts and lifts it to center. Marcellus stumbled a bit. Bradley goes for the hit on him. So Marcellus gets it deep. Takes another weird bounce there. Quinnipiac backs off. And Messinio's pass is knocked down. Doesn't get deep. Graff is right back in. Here's Tellier shooting high and wide. Bradley slams it off the wall down the ice.
Huskies dodged a bullet there with that weak clear by Messinio. UConn gets Muldowney and Percival out on the kill. Top line out for the Bobcats.
Graff carries in for Quinnipiac. He spins off the check of Percival and then leaves it at the line. Lee slides it along to Sam Lipkin, walking off the half boards. Receiving it back from Quillen. Lee to Graff, right on back to Jaden Lee. He and Graff play the two-man game. The wrist shot by Lipkin, stopped by Hyder and cleared by Connecticut. Lipkin with 10 seconds to go on the power play, right back in for Quinnipiac. Out of the reach of Graff. Reese can't nudge it out. Graff holds the zone. Lee fires. And a save by Hyder. He blockers it over the glass and into the seats.
Just as time expires on the penalty, Heaslip is back. UConn had the better offensive chances there, Randy, than Quinnipiac did. Starting with Bradley on the breakaway, beat Vinny Duplessis for Chase's 10th goal of the year. He has had a monster season for UConn.
Wildly talented and a heavy hitter. Very physical player. Heaslip blocks the pass, and now he's got a race down the ice. He's got Wood. Heaslip slides it to Wood. He scores! Matthew Wood goes to the net. Heaslip hits him, and it's 3-1 UConn.
Welcome back to the scoring column, Matthew Wood. Watch Heaslip, he wins a battle for the puck. Wood goes to the net, stays on his feet, absorbs the check from behind, treats it like a fly on an elephant's tuchus, and scores. For Matthew Wood, he had just one goal in 12 games coming in, and it's 3-1 UConn, and this place is alive.
Wood had power chasing him down, but he leaned on his stick and knocked it in. Rand Pecknold on the Quinnipiac bench.
Looking for a review here. I mean, look, I'm no referee. I don't see how you call that goaltender interference, especially when you're getting pushed from behind. Yeah, look. Let's watch it. Yeah, I'm not sure how that's goalie interference.
No way.
That's going to take about an eighth of a second. That's all the time it did. Quinnipiac loses its timeout, and the goal stands for Matthew Wood.
Well, what a feed by Heaslip, too.
Oh, beautiful.
He put it right there, and Wood basically carries it in the net.
8th goal of the year for Wood. Heaslip, who had just taken the penalty, on the assist, and UConn with a 2-goal lead. Watch Heaslip again. Watch this beautiful. He waits just long enough. Heaslip got away from Alex Power and slid it past Duplessis.
So Quinnipiac loses their timeout on that challenge, and Spetz sends it for Tattle to tip deep. Fraser leaves it behind the net for Muldowney. 3-1 UConn. Matthew Wood making it a 2-goal lead, picked 15th overall in this year's NHL draft by the Nashville Predators. And coming through here in the CT Ice Championship. Long way to go against a dynamic Quinnipiac team who came back from down 2 against Minnesota in the championship game, the national championship game. Tellier shooting one wide. They were trailing to UConn in the 3rd period of last year's Connecticut Ice Tournament championship game. They're trailing by 2 here, a little more than halfway through this season's championship match. 9:29 to go here in the second. 3-1 UConn.
First, it was Bradley on the breakaway, then Wood in front. Huskies up by 2 here on SNY and UConn Plus. Welcome back. 3-1 UConn on the goals by Bradley and Wood. Hockey East, first period in Boston, BC leads BU 2-1. Second period, New Hampshire 4-1 over Vermont. Northeastern and Merrimack are scoreless. End of one, Providence leads UMass Lowell 1-0.
The Huskies win the draw, and Matthew Wood slams it the way of John Spetz. Too hot to handle, and here comes Quinnipiac. Marcellus over the line, shooting, blocked by Flynn. Percival on it for UConn. That's out of the reach of Wood, up in the air. Pennington plays it back through center. Percival and Traylor battling. Percival sweeps it back to Spetz, and here's Wood again, over the line. Across for Percival, chopped out, and the Bobcats have transition. Traylor goes wide on Messinio. Pulling up on the half boards. Salominen finishes him. Lucas hits Marcellus. Centering pass by Graff, stolen by Wood. And Salominen clears.
What's so important for UConn here, Randy, is to maintain their discipline. Stay in their lanes, forecheck. Do not take any penalties. You're playing with fire if you do that. And basically just play like they have for the first half of the game.
And again, Joe, the Bobcats have been here before. They're not going to panic down by 2. Martin moves it around. Sam Lipkin hit by Richard. Bradley all over the place. Reese.
Okey doke.
Throws a stop on Tellier. Bradley carries in. He backhands one off of Duplessis from an impossible angle. The save. Boy, he got some steam on that backhander. Lipkin out to center. Stolen and carried in by Christophe Tellier. Richard sweeps it away for UConn. Quillen slips it down low to Tellier. His backhand pass stolen by Hudson Shandor and chipped off the glass. Goes the length. It is icing.
Ooh. Almost
Just
looked
barely.
like Davis Pennington blew a tire on his way to that to slow down. Looking at ECAC scores, Union up 5-3 on RPI in the third. Dartmouth leads Cornell 2-1 in the second. Harvard leads Colgate 4-2 in the second. St. Lawrence a 2-0 lead over Clarkson. Got you all caught up on the two conferences represented by the teams in our title game tonight.
And of course, Yale was in the consolation game and won today against Sacred Heart. That's thrown in front by Shandor, and it comes across where Cherneskian-Air is there to intercept. Cipollone down the wing. He fires it over. They go to the front and backhanded just wide by Cherneskian-Air. He lifts it back to the point. It's C.J. McGee looking for some space. Victor Cherneskian-Air to the middle. Shoots and scores! Victor Chernesky in air. The kid from Southington makes it a one-goal game as he scores for the Quinnipiac Bobcats.
Well, they're a team that can strike suddenly. Watch Chernesky here. He just snaps one. Not sure if Hyder got screened on the play. I think he did. Nope. I think he just got beat. I think he got beat to the stick side. And just like that, it's back to a one-goal game.
Anthony Cipollone was looking for the tip. Just under 7 minutes to go, second period, back to a one-goal game.
Scored by number 14, Victor Chernesky.
And the Bobcats leading the charge. Here's Tupgarin. Looking to move past Messinio. Tom Messinio took away his angle. And Hyder gets a whistle.
For Chernesky in air, his 5th goal of the season. Only helper by the grad student C.J. McGee. So just like that, it's back to a one-goal game. And I would think, Randy, that Hyder would like that one back, just like the first one. Still 6:35 to go here in the second period. Quinnipiac's got its top line on the ice.
And off the face-off win, that's thrown on goal again by Mason Marcellus, making his presence felt in this Connecticut Ice tournament. Stopped by Hyder.
Well, Graff has been moved temporarily out of the line with Marcellus and Trailer. Grant Pecknall trying to shake up that top line that doesn't have a point this weekend. Didn't have a point last weekend.
Marcellus leaves it behind the net for Colin Graff. Percival intercepts for the Huskies and lifts it out. Now Pennington. That stretch pass, one touch by Marcellus to spring Traylor in. Across for Graff, he drops it off. Here's Traylor, one-timer! He scores! Incredible puck movement by the Quinnipiac Bobcats. They strike twice quick and tie the game at 3.
Well, there was nothing that Hyder could have done about that. You said it. Just phenomenal puck movement. And Travis Trailer, who scored against UConn for Ohio State, the beneficiary, nobody accounted for him. He was wide open, and he one-timed it past Hyder. And we are all even at 3. 2 goals within 54 seconds for the Bobcats. And we start anew at 3.
Just under 6 minutes left here in the second period. Traylor with a game-tying goal after magnificent puck movement by the Quinnipiac Bobcats, so skilled.
Sixth goal of the year for Trailer.
And now here's Legault receiving the pass. Shandor picks it up. He's looking to spring. Richard, a diving play by Moore, disrupted it, but now Bradley going in front, and it's knocked just wide. Capone rumbles in. Reese picks it up. He shoots. Deflected just wide by Richard. One-handed by Bradley. Back to the point and snapped wide by Messinio. Jake Falou on the ice for UConn. Behind the net for Nick Capone. And then steered out of harm's way for Quinnipiac by Tellier.
Scored by number 17, Travis Trelaw.
5 minutes left, second period. Quinnipiac and UConn tied at 3 in the Connecticut Ice Championship. Here come the Bobcats. Alex Power fires one on. Hyder the save. The rebound. He stopped that one too. Cipollone had the rebound come to him, and Hyder quickly makes the second stop.
The ice is tilted towards the UConn defensive end. Trailer from Lee and Graff to tie the game as you watch Ethan Hyder dive and put out the gloved hand to make the save. All even at 3. 4:50 to go here in period number 2. It's the CT Ice final on SNY and UConn Plus. Quinnipiac cheerleaders with something to cheer for as we are even at 3. 2 goals within the space of 54 seconds. First, the Connecticut kid, Victor Trineski-in-Air, and then Travis Traylor. As you get a look at Vinny Duplessis, he's had to stop 12 shots tonight. Ethan Heider with 18 saves for UConn. But the ice has turned tilted. UConn's got to turn this around, Randy, if they want to get that first CT Ice title.
Well, they need the puck because when Quinnipiac has it, Jaden Lee and Colin Graff assisting on that goal by Traylor, you just see how elite they are, involving all 5 men on the ice. Quick one-touch passes. They get you moving around in your defensive zone. And then Traylor wide open for the one-time rip. 3-3. The Huskies and the Bobcats are tied. Messinio throws a check on Traylor. Messinio back for it, lifts it up. Knocked down by C.J. McGee, who slips past Tattle and shoots. Heider the save.
Graff had set up camp in front, waiting for a rebound that was not to come. What UConn's got to do now is make it through the next 4:14 and get back in the locker room and regroup. Things were going so well for Mike Kavanaugh's team, but that goal that I would think Heider would like to have back, the 3-2 goal on a seemingly harmless shot, and then the brilliant play that resulted in the game-tying goal.
Percival disrupting that shot, now, however, did get through. Serbone stopped by Heider. 4 minutes left in the second period. Quinnipiac out shooting UConn 22-15. Percival sends it Wood's way, looking to slip down the wall. Matthew Wood to the net. It's there for Percival out in front. Salaminin chipped it just over the crossbar. Spets, wrist shot, through Duplessis the save. Salaminin back down low for Wood, who lets it go for Percival. And a backhand pass out in front, one-handed by Lee. To the wall, back down low it goes for Wood. He battles Pennington. Wood pulls it off the perimeter. Pennington pokes away at it. Lucas steps up. It's knocked out in a foot race. UConn able to get there first in the person of Spets. Wood over the line. No shooting room, so he sends Shandor on the chase. Now Wood races over to the blue line and sends it back down low. Shandor going up against Tupkar. Traylor flips it down the ice. Under 3 to go in the second period. Flynn up to Richard, and now it's Bradley. Going wide, he spins one back to Richard, across, looking for Shandor, he couldn't catch it. Flynn now, a wrist shot into traffic. It bounces to the wall. Richard sends a hot pass back to Reese. It hops up in the air. Controlled by Quinnipiac as Quillen settles the play. Up the wall, it's Tellier. Pulling up, finding Quillen. And poke check by Tattle, who drops to a knee to take away the space. Once again, it's sent down low. It's Quillen from Lipkin, stopped by Heider. A snapshot from the point. Legault, they score. It was tipped. UConn argues it was knocked in by a high stick, but Quinnipiac celebrates at the moment with a 4-3 lead.
It looked like it was Christophe Tellier who put it in. Mike Kavanaugh immediately signaled to the officials he thought it was a high stick. The referees, Curtin and Tufts, talking it over. As we get a look at it here.
Right?
I didn't get a clear look at it from there. Referees are still talking it over.
No
they
goal.
wave it off.
That's the call on the ice.
Rand Pecknall wants him to review it. The veteran Quinnipiac coach at the edge of the bench.
Joe, I think this angle might give you a good look. That stick has got to be below the crossbar, and it sure didn't look from that angle like it was.
So Rand Pecknall pleading his case. He was very emphatic at first. Now the assistant coach is getting involved in the discussion as well. 2:14 to go. And they're not gonna go for a review.
And remember, he's challenged already.
Right, so he's out of challenges. Now Pecknall calls him back. Right, this shouldn't be a discussion if he's out of challenges. As you see Pecknall talking to Jeremy Tuff, so it's no goal. The game remains tied at 3, and Quinnipiac controls the faceoff. Again, UConn's got to get to the locker room with the game tied at 3.
Chernesky and R in the offensive zone for Quinnipiac, looking to make his way to the front. Rossinen plays it down low. Here's Chernesky and R shooting, saved by Hyder. Way out at the top of his crease to cut down the angle. Fraser sends it in. The game tied at 3 as UConn converges on the forecheck. Power back for it. Tattle takes it away and sweeps it over to the near boards. This is where Quinnipiac's dangerous when they've got the puck on their talented defensemen's sticks. Their stretch plays, they're so effective. And here's Rossinen to lead it out. Stretch pass, Power tips it deep. Reese on retrieval for the Huskies. Marcellus bearing down on him. Traylor races over. Graff out there too. Moore fires one wide. Wood looking to send it up the wall. It's out of the zone. 1 minute left in the second period. The championship of Connecticut Ice tied at 3. Here comes Marcellus over to Graff. He winds up and he shoots the stick right out of Reese's hands. But Reese will take that because he blocked the shot and the puck out of play.
And you see Ethan Hyder. It's been ever since UConn took a 3-1 lead on the Wood goal, the ice has been tilted towards our left. 50.2 to go. Offensive zone faceoff for the Cats.
Bradley looking to carry the puck out. He got poke checked at the line. Martin held his own for a moment and now sends it back in where Lucas plays to Flynn. 35 seconds to go in the period. Pennington steps up looking to force the turnover for Quinnipiac. Shandor leads the charge. Lucas is in with Bradley. 2-on-1. Lucas fires. A save and the rebound is kicked out. And here comes Quinnipiac the other way. Charging into the zone, Cerdone looking to walk around Messinio in 18 seconds. Messinio rides him into the end boards. Lucas chips it up to Shandor. 12 seconds left. He snaps a pass across to Richard. 8 seconds. Into the middle, it's Filion clearing for Quinnipiac. Serbone and Tupcar go to it. The Connecticut Ice Tournament Championship is tied at 3 through 2 periods.
Serbone and Tattle in a tattle battle in front of the Quinnipiac bench. Well, 40 minutes of hockey that have been high octane, high energy. UConn had jumped out to a 3-1 lead on goals by Bradley, shorthanded on a breakaway, and then Matthew Wood. But Quinnipiac, playing with the heart of a champion, tied the game up. Zernekier and Traylor, and we go to the final 20 minutes, all even at 3. There's the Bradley breakaway on the shorthanded situation. And then Wood on the pretty feed from Heaslip made it 3-1, but the Bobcats came back to tie the game. During our second intermission, stay right here. UConn's heavy-hitting junior forward, Chase Bradley, joins our heavy hitter, Noam Watt, to discuss being drafted, his style of play, and much more. Tied at 3 in the CTI's final on SNY and UConn Plus.
Welcome back between periods. Alongside Chase Bradley, I'm Noam Watt. Chase, a junior forward from St. Louis, Missouri, and a 7th-round pick of the Detroit Red Wings. What was that moment like for you?
It was a pretty cool moment. Obviously, it was during COVID, so it was a little scrambled. I actually had practice at the beginning of the day, and I came back from practice, and I got a call from one of the staff members there, and yeah, it was a pretty exciting experience.
Now, Chase, your hometown team, the St. Louis Blues, actually made a trade with Detroit, and with that pick, Detroit selected you in the 7th round. How cool of a moment was that?
Yeah, it's definitely pretty cool. I definitely didn't expect it, and I guess it's kind of a crazy thing to happen, but yeah.
And now, when you got picked, you received a text from pretty famous, well-known hockey player, also from St. Louis. That's Pat Maroon, 3-time champ, both with the Blues and the Lightning. What did he say to you?
He just told me good luck, basically. Enjoy it and keep your head straight. So he's a Oakville kid. That's where I'm from in St. Louis. So we both went to Oakville High School. So it's a pretty cool thing.
What is it about Oakville that's produced such talented hockey players?
I don't know. Maybe the water, I guess. No, I don't know. It's a pretty big hockey city, and I think it's up and coming, St. Louis and as a whole. But having all those kids around you, I guess it's just making each other better. So.
Now, you've played hockey in a number of different places growing up. Tell me a little bit about your journey to UConn.
So I played hockey growing up in St. Louis until I was about 12 or 13. I decided it'd be best for me if I go play in New Jersey for a couple of years. So I played in New Jersey for a couple of years with the New Jersey Colonials, and then after that, I played in Omaha for 2 years, and then Sioux City, Iowa for 1. So all over the place.
And I read that you started skating when you were 4.
Yeah.
And the first couple times on skates, maybe not the happiest?
No. My mom always said that I was always crying my first couple of skates, but I guess I grew to love it. So.
All right, well, when we come back, we'll have more with UConn forward Chase Bradley. Back here with Chase Bradley. Chase, an extremely competitive player, so much so that in high school you played with your older brother Connor. One time he left you at practice because you guys got in such a heated practice. How'd you get home that day?
I'm pretty sure I found a ride from one of my friends, but yeah, it's a pretty funny story. I have two brothers that both play hockey, so definitely a competitive house growing up.
And you've continued that style of play here at UConn, one of the biggest hitters on the team. What is it about your play that, you try and get those big hits out there early, set the tone?
Yeah, like you said, I think it brings energy to the game and to my teammates. So I like playing physical, and nobody really likes playing against someone that hits and is physical all the time. So I feel like it definitely has upside to my game.
You're a big physical guy. You're also a very talented scorer, towards the top of the team in both goals and assists. How do you manage to do both?
I guess it's just part of the game for me. I think hitting's very important. I think scoring goals is important. So I just try to be that complete player and bring my best every night.
Now, back in juniors in the USHL, you played with a current teammate, that's Tabor Heaslip, and now you're at UConn together. How cool is that?
It's pretty awesome. We were pretty good friends when we played together in Sioux City. I came here my freshman year, and he was still in Sioux City, so I kind of got to experience it without him, and now I feel like I could kind of talk to him about certain things, and like having that friendship is awesome.
Now you're in your third year here in Stores. Do you have a favorite memory so far?
My favorite memory is definitely winning that first game at the Garden my freshman year against Northeastern. I would say that's definitely up there, and then beating BU at home in playoffs was also a pretty cool memory.
To an open wing, Bradley to the empty net, he scores!
How about Chase Bradley?
That BU game was at the XL Center. Obviously, you guys split time between XL and Toscano. What's it like playing right here on campus in Stores?
It's nice being able to wake up, kind of spend your day around Stores, and then go to a game. But always have love for the XL Center. I feel like I play better there sometimes, but this is an awesome environment at this rink, and yeah, it's just fun to be around.
And how about a goal for the second half of the season?
Win more games as a team. I think we have a pretty good team this year, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for us.
That's Chase Bradley. More UConn hockey coming up after this.
The eyes on the prize for the UConn Huskies and the Quinnipiac Bobcats. The hype, well, they have lived up to it in Hartford here in the 2024 Connecticut Ice Tournament Championship. Quinnipiac and UConn tied at 3 through 2 periods at the XL Center. And Jody Ambrosio, Quinnipiac has the pedigree. They're looking to hang on to the title. UConn has a burning desire to rip it away.
It's so big for UConn, Randy, this next 20 minutes. It might tell us a lot about their season. Here's Ethan Hyder, takes an ill-advised stroll out of the goal, and it's tapped home by Mason Marcellus. That makes it 1-1 early in the second. But then, after the only penalty of the game on Tabor Heaslip, Chase Bradley steals the puck, skates in, and rips one past Vinny Duplessis. That makes the game 2-1 for Bradley. His 10th goal of the season. Then moments later, Matthew Wood would take a pass as Bradley celebrates the shorty. Moments later, Heaslip on a 2-on-1. Watch Wood as he goes to the net. Quinnipiac challenged that for goalie interference, and they're out of timeouts, and that may have come back to bite them on that goal, goal that could have been the go-ahead goal. So UConn looking pretty good up 3-1 there. But like a champion, here's Cernakier, takes a shot. Didn't look like any sort of a screen in front of Hyder. Just got beat to the stick side. That made it 3-2. And then this was a thing of beauty. Watch the passing work here. McGee finds Travis Traylor. He beats Hyder and ties the game at 3. Shots 25-19 in favor of Quinnipiac. 20 minutes or more to decide the CT Ice title as you look at the stats, face-offs relatively close. Blocks, UConn has blocked 14 shots. That's critical as the officials gather at center ice. Set to drop the puck for period number 3 here at the XL Center in Hartford.
Tied at 3. The Quinnipiac Bobcats looking to win the Connecticut Ice Tournament for the 3rd straight year. UConn looking to win it for the first time. Messinio sends it in. Duplessis leaves it there. The Huskies have possession behind the net. Hudson Shandor, who scored in the championship game last year and twice last night, to Chase Bradley, who angles down low. Tupgar the intercept, and now the Bobcats counter. Tupgar over the line. Toe drag, shoots and scores! 28 seconds into the 3rd. Zach Tupgar gives Quinnipiac the lead.
He had time, he had space, and he had the shot. The former Cornell star, watch this as he skates in. Nobody goes to him. Don't know if Flynn screened out his goalie there, but Tupker beat him high to the glove side, and Quinnipiac grabs its first lead of the night. And that's not the way UConn diagrammed the period to start.
3 unanswered for Quinnipiac, which trailed by 2 goals to UConn last year and won the title game 4-3. The Bobcats lead this year's 4-3. Graf fires one on. Hyder comes back with a save. Fraser gets run over by Graf and knocks it down the ice. Icing waved off. Now Muldowney chasing it. Graf flips one into the corner, and Flynn spins it for Spetz. Tattle gives it back to Spetz. And now it's UConn looking for the stretch, and they've got numbers. Fraser's in. He shoots, and a stop by Duplessis, knocked away by Graf. Playing the 200-foot game, making a huge defensive play.
That's something that Rand Pecknall talked about during the week. The reason Graf is a better player is he plays 200 feet.
Percival flips a backhander wide. There's Solomon in. His snapshot is blocked. Percival off the wall. Looking to thread it through to Reese. Percival loses the stick. Tellier knocked it out of his hands. Transition here for Quinnipiac. Tellier shooting. That gets deflected wide. Harrison Reese for the Huskies. By far the largest crowd in a game at the Connecticut Ice Tournament, which was charged and certainly it favored UConn, quieted by the Bobcats.
Here you see Graf knocks the puck out of danger there after Duplessis made the initial blocker save. As Tattle was waiting for the rebound that was not to come, and then Graf sent him face first into the boards. Such an important stretch for UConn here, Randy. They've got to get some confidence back. They've been rattled by this Quinnipiac outburst.
From the point, Legault shoots, and that one hits the post. It got deflected and hit some iron. Hyder might have gotten a piece, but it also caught some pipe. The Quinnipiac Bobcats coming on strong here through the second and now into the third period. Nick Capone spins his tires at the blue line, so he sends it deep. And the Huskies get a change. Pennington snaps it through. John Spett settles the play. He angles up the wall. Here's Richard with a stick lift. And a whistle here. He might have jumped the line before the puck. And this faceoff's coming all the way down the other end.
You're going to call it an intentional offsides.
That bench with a ton of big game experience. None bigger than last year when Rand Pecknold pulled the goalie with 3.5 minutes left. Colin Graf tied the game against Minnesota in the national championship. And then, of course, they ran the play. 10 seconds into overtime, they storm out of the gates and score the go-ahead goal here to begin the third period of the Connecticut Ice Championship. Hudson Shandor back in for UConn, and he drops it off to nobody in particular. Rossinen takes it away. Jake Martin feeds Tupcar, who has scored the go-ahead goal in the opening seconds of the third period. A slap pass up the wall. Goes the length, but it was touched by Lucas, so icing negated. Now, Ryan Tattle's in. He shoots to save the rebound. Duplessis made the second stop, but a penalty is called. Slashing. And did he have a clear lane at the goaltender? Would they consider a penalty shot here?
I do not think so, as it's McGee. C.J. McGee gives UConn their first power play of the night. I think that slash came after. But UConn getting chances, there's no question about it. The slash came just after he attempted the shot. So at 3:41, UConn gets its first power play of the evening, trying to deadlock this final at 4.
The face-off won by the Huskies on the power play. Wood down low. Here's Shandor. He rips a one-timer. Duplessis kicks it away. Muldowney sends it behind the net. Lee works his way to the puck and clears. Now Shandor needed Richard to touch up. Shandor said, "I didn't bring it over the line," and that was an inadvertent whistle. He was waiting for Richard to tag up.
Well, it hit one of the fabulous Briganti brothers. Shandor seemed to wait, so they'll face it off just outside the zone. Watch this here. You see it hit the official. Yeah, that puck came out. There's no reason that whistle should have blown.
Quinnipiac with a face-off win, and Rossinen clears it. 1:30 left on the UConn power play. Trailing 4-3. They enter. Lucas in the corner. Sets it up. Up top, Wood. Joey Muldowney. Over to Lucas. His pass deflects down low to Richard, looking to stuff one in front. Lucas missed the net. He had a look, but he fired wide. Lucas spins it over. Muldowney settles the play. Cross ice to Wood. Waiting. Backdoor play for Shandor. Back out in front now for Lucas. Richard there. Off the half boards. He steers it back. Lucas. 50 seconds on the power play. Wood into the middle. Shandor fires. Deflected, and Duplessis makes the save.
Boy, they moved the puck beautifully there. And how about Mike Cavanaugh's confidence in Joey Muldowney and Jake Richard, playing him on the #1 power play unit with Lucas, Shandor, and Wood. As you get a look at this beautiful setup here. Back goes to the point. Boy, Shandor ripped that one-timer. And Duplessis had to be ready for it. No rebound there for Richard. And he's converged on. So the face-off to the right of Duplessis. 46 seconds to go on the power play on the penalty against C.J. McGee for a slash.
Next power play unit on. Chase Bradley shoots. That got blocked to the wall. Moore looking to out-muscle Capone, and he's able to lift it out. John Spetz with 30 seconds to go on the power play. UConn's offside. Salominen gives it up. And Moore's going to take his time and slap it down the river. Chase Bradley to center ice. Rumbles in. Off the wall and spins one across for Jake Percival. He guides it back to Spetz. 8 seconds on the power play. John Spetz has a good right shot from the point, but no lane. Nick Capone, final seconds of the power play. Whips it over. Bradley fires. Save, rebound! Knocked out of midair by Percival, just wide. Salominen to Bradley. Slipping one down low. It's Percival behind the net. Knifing one in front. Intercepted by Tupkar. The team's back to 5 aside. He pops one across for Chernesky and R. Spun around. The Huskies looking for transition. Feathered on. Here's Fraser. He fires. It's blocked and then cleared.
See if UConn can continue the momentum. That was a terrific power play despite the fact that they didn't score. They put all sorts of pressure on the Bobcats.
Messinio starts it up. Flynn fires it around. Out to center. And a whistle.
I think the puck went out of play. So Quinnipiac took the lead on the Tupker goal just 28 seconds in. Rand Pecknall's team trying to win their 3rd straight Connecticut Ice title. They lead it 4-3 with 13:28 to go here on SNY and UConn Plus.
The Providence Flyers.
That's part of the atmosphere here at the XL Center tonight. The Quinnipiac cheerleaders right next to their band. Off to the far right corner. 4-3, 3 unanswered for the defending national champs. As you get a look at the UConn band at the other end. Face-off will be just outside the zone. Salominen and trailer. Percival and Graff getting into it just outside of the face-off dot. Jousting for position, and one of the Briganti brothers is going to come over and say that's enough, and the referee is going to step in as well. Looks like the referee
atmosphere.
Looks like he was talking more to Percival than he was Graff.
Yeah.
Is that a reputation call there?
Perhaps. Flynn sends it in. Under 13 and a half to go. A 1-goal game in the title game of the CT Ice tournament. And here's Matthew Wood down in the corner for the Huskies. Looking to slip a pass in front. He goes down, hit by Martin. Up the wall, Martin then gets hit. Messinio angles it behind the net for Wood. Out to Salominen. And he runs into Pennington, who chips it out. Under 13 to go. 4-3 Quinnipiac, 3 unanswered for the Bobcats, including the go-ahead goal by Zach Tupker early in the third period. Legault works it deep for Quinnipiac. It's pulled off the wall, but sent right back in by Filion. Harrison Reese, who opened the scoring. Back for it, Hudson Shandor. Fires a pass that got deflected by a Quinnipiac stick, so Duplessis plays it. Spun up the far boards by Moore, with Bradley digging. Bradley with a goal tonight, shorthanded. Shandor feeds the point, the tip! Just high and wide by Richard off the snapshot by Lucas. Lucas steps up in a stick battle, won by Filion, who moves it out, and Filion nudges it on. Numbers for the Bobcats. The pass across to Cipollone out of his reach. He quickly plays to Christophe Filion, who coughs it up. It's Lucas to Bradley. He throws it into the corner for Richard, going up against Moore. Moore shoulders him off the puck. Fraser goes for it. A poke check by Tattle at center, but Quillen keeps it moving. Spets back for it, slams it off the glass, and out of play.
So Christophe Tellier now playing on the top line with Sam Lipkin and Jacob Quinlan, flipping spots with Colin Graff. There you see a good center ice check by Chase Bradley, never afraid to throw his body around. Shots not much more even, 27-25 in favor of Quinnipiac. Bobcats with the 1-goal lead, 8.5 into the third.
Flynn stick checked as he looks to move it out. Now the Huskies into the zone. Tattle going wide. Tattle throws it in front. It's there for Moldowdy and pulled away defensively by Christophe Tellier. Here's Chernetsky and R firing one on. Saved by Hyder on the hard wrist shot from the left wing. Tellier drops to a knee to play to Quillen. To Tellier in. He saucers one over, electing not to shoot it, but trying to force one to Lipkin.
Had a wide open goal, not sure why he passed that.
Lee at the point, throws one in front, tipped on, kicked out by Hyder. Quinnipiac picks it up. There's that stretch feed for Quinnipiac to Cipollone, who inadvertently tips it out of play.
Huskies now double shifting Hudson Shandor out there with Capone and Heaslip. So, midway through the third period, Quinnipiac holding on to the 4-3 lead. Face off at center ice.
UConn wins it. Messinio has to play it quickly down the ice. No icing. Shandor able to sweep it away from Moore. And now Capone looking to pull it off the wall. Cipollone the touch. He snaps a pass across to Jake Martin. Flipping it up, stolen by Heaslip. Right back in for UConn to Shandor. Once again, Jake Martin back for it for Quinnipiac. Shandor looking to pick his pocket. So much support there for Quinnipiac. 3 men go to the puck. Alex Power over the line for the Bobcats. Steers it along the boards. Involving the trailer. There's a shot wide by Rossinen. He slips pass. Deflected. Out to the Quinnipiac end. Percival, after Reese forces the turnover on the open ice hit, revs the engine. Jake Percival throws one across. And it banks out to center. John Spets, the one-man back for Connecticut, off the wall, but not out of the zone. Graff, Traylor, Graff fires, it doesn't go! On a beautiful give and go, Graff had the look. Legault fires one, deflected by Graff down low, just wide again. Graff in a puck battle, it's loose in front, lifted by Salominen out of the zone.
That was all set up by a weak transition attempt by Spets, kept it in the zone.
Graff right back in. The pass comes for Graff, but Richard was on him. Hudson Shandor settles a rolling puck. He carries to center. Over the line. Shandor, blind pass, Bradley fires high. Duplessis came out, threw the blocker up. Bradley looking to take it away. It comes up the wall to Marcellus. 8.5 to go. Zone entry for Pennington. He goes wide on Messinio. Throws it in front, and it trickles off the stick just wide from Serbone. Bradley knocks it out. Short changes here on both sides. Tattle knocks down the stretch feed. It rolls around at center ice. Sent Muldowney's way. Trying to slip through the hit of Filion. Filion then pinned by Tattle. In the corner, support again from Serbone. Flip to the open corner for Moore. Under 8 minutes to go in the CT Ice Championship. 4-3 Quinnipiac. Reese races back. Reese to Tattle. Tattle saucers one out to Lucas. The drop pass. Muldowney shooting. Kick save. Duplessis. Flynn shooting into traffic. There's the chance. Duplessis sells out and robs Lucas. What a save. The Huskies keep the offensive zone. Lucas in, looking to turn a corner to the front of the net. Fraser digging, loose on the goal line. No whistle yet. There it is finally. Whew. What action.
Fraser, or rather Tattle, underneath those bodies there. It looks like Tupker might have taken a shot at him. Both he and Filion are there. Is there a point that you're supposed to get off? So, we'll take a collective breath. UConn coming oh so close to the equalizing goal, but Vinny Duplessis proving equal to the task. 7:19 left in the final. Quinnipiac 4, UConn 3.
Let's see those.
$7:19 to play here at the XL Center, where we've had a great attitude all night long. Crowd has been into it. Halftime at Gamble, Notre Dame leads the UConn women 44-35 on a night that they're honoring the 04 and 14 national champions. Tomorrow here, when the top-ranked UConn men play Xavier, the 2004 NCAA champs will be honored. Emeka Okafor, Ben Gordon, Talik Brown, Rashad Anderson, Jim Calhoun, of course. Right now, though, it's hockey. UConn searching for the equalizer as Quinnipiac has put in 3 unanswered to take the lead.
Drama in the heartbeat of Connecticut for CT Ice 4. Quinnipiac with the lead. They have come out strong from Hamden. Carried in and shot on. A little wrist shot from Christophe Tellier. Save made by Hyder. Lipkin in the corner. He steers it back to Pennington. A shot deflects a couple of times. Hyder makes the stop.
I think he made that stop on his back, Randy.
Quinnipiac protecting a 4-3 lead by playing offense. That's what Rand Pecknold says they do best. They held Yale in the third period to 2 shots because they had the puck so much in the third period. Same deal here. Sliding block by Salaminin. Centering pass. Legault moves it over. Tillion whiffs on the one-timer from a tough angle. Lifted up and not out of the zone. Legault holds. Muldowney now for UConn. And it is Wood to work it out. Pennington, a give and go. He gets it back down the wing. Pennington in. He centers. Swept away. Defended by Spetz. Pennington right back on it. He shoots looking for the tip. It's wide. Shandor first to the puck. Lifts it up. And with some help from Richard gets it out. 6 minutes left.
Huskies looking a little tired, especially on the defensive zone. They've been on their heels for most of the third period.
Flynn gets hit as he plays it away from Trelar. Shandor pulls it free. Here come the Huskies now through center. Shandor's pass blocked by Marcellus. Graf pops it up in the air. Traylor stays on side and takes it to the corner. Richard for the Huskies. One touch out to Bradley. 3 men back for the Bobcats, so Bradley slams it deep. Jake Martin, the stretch. Tipped deep by Cipollone. Messinio on retrieval for the Huskies. Lifts it out to center. Moore with a rolling puck. Sends it the length, and it's icing against Quinnipiac.
So the Bobcat 5 have to stay out there. UConn can make a change if they so desire, and they'll bring out the Salomon and Percival wood line with Spets and Messinio on defense as a testament to the high-pressured offensive game. Shots are 35-30 in favor of Quinnipiac. How are people leaving? Can you explain that to me?
I cannot. Final 5 of this championship game in what has been an incredible atmosphere and a terrific college hockey game, playing for a title here in Connecticut. Quinnipiac with a lead 4-3 behind 3 unanswered goals, including the go-ahead 20 seconds into the period. Samu Salaminen now for the Huskies. Leads it into the right wing side. It's Richard shooting a save. Percival knocked off the puck. Here comes Salaminen to throw a check. Reese back for it. Harrison Reese up the wall looking for Fraser. He did not get his stick on it. Rassinen lifted it, and that helps out an icing. So Rassinen with a good play. Icing on UConn.
So the face-off will go to the right of Ethan Hyder, getting the start tonight because of past performances against Quinnipiac while at Clarkson, and also the fact that Arseny Sergeyev, although he's played well lately, hasn't played back-to-backs very often. In fact, I don't think he's played them at all this year until recently. And even then, it wasn't 2 games and 2 nights.
A tie up in the corner. Reese takes his man down. It pops out in front. Picked up by Cipollone and spun back down low. Centering pass stolen by Wood. He slides it over to Percival. Jake Percival flips it for Fraser. Knocked out of the air. Poke check by Percival. A loose puck at center. Cipollone to Filion with 4 minutes left in the third. 4 men back for Connecticut. Flynn retreats. He sends it high off the glass. Muldowney settles the puck. He's over the line, but his pass is broken up. Looking for Tattle. Jake Flynn fires it across. Joey Muldowney rims it. Fraser on the charge. Up against Legault. He knocks Legault over, but Quinnipiac comes out of the zone with it. And a chance here, entering Tellier. He drops it off. The shot is wide by Filion.
That time Hyder did a good job coming out to cut down the angle. Didn't give Filion much of an angle, so we take our final media timeout. 3:23 to go. Does UConn have a rally in its bones? Only time will tell. Quinnipiac looking to make it a three-peat in CT Ice with a 4-3 lead here on SNY and UConn Plus. Scoreboard tells the story here at the XL Center. 3:23 left in what's been a terrific CT Ice final. Quinnipiac, which trailed it 3-1, now on top of UConn 4-3. The Bobcats have outshot the Huskies 35-31. Face-off will come to the right of Ethan Hyder as the crowd gets into the wave. Were you ever a big guy doing away of Fenway when you went? In your BU days?
Not in a one-goal hockey game. That's what we have here in the
read my
championship.
mind.
4-3 Quinnipiac. Looking to protect the lead by adding to it. They've got the puck in the offensive zone. Lee pinching, throws one toward the net. Saved by Hyder, and he calmly pulls it into his equipment for a whistle.
Hung out there for a tantalizing second. Free for anybody to get, and it was Hyder who reached out and got it. Quinnipiac will change lines. They'll bring out Zanakanair for the face-off. He's with Graf and Marcellus as Rand Pecknall switches his lines.
Graf off the face-off win, throws it in front. Reese blocks it, up the wall to Bradley. 3 minutes to go in the third. 4-3 Quinnipiac. Richard races against Moore, but it's icing.
So, face-off will come down to the right of Ethan Hayter. Huskies have to stay with the Bradley, Richard, Shandor line. Face-offs dead even, 32-31 unofficially in favor of UConn. And Shandor wins another.
That allows Messinio to look to pop it. A rolling puck goes to the corner. Legault along the wall, picked up by Reese. Legault, this way it goes. Marcellus, drop pass. Pennington in, he fires high and hard. Saved by Hyder. Messinio with 2.5. To Richard. Hyder takes a look at the bench. Richard gets it in. Puck possession so important. Here's a steal by Lucas. Cutting to the middle for Wood. It comes back for a wrist shot by Flynn. Deflecting wide. Wood on the puck in the corner. Wood shoots. And it's high and wide. Shot by Flynn. Back down low. Into the corner. 2 minutes to go in the Connecticut Ice Championship. Wood sends it over, but off the stick of Lucas and out to center. And now with the Huskies in possession, Hyder may be ready to go if they can get it deep and get possession. Wood gets it in, but Rossinen has it for Quinnipiac, so Hyder stays put with 1:45 left. Rossinen up the wall. Traylor feathers it in. Hyder makes the save. He keeps the Huskies alive, stopping Lipkin. Out it comes to Wood with 1:35 to play. Shandor over the line. And he can't get it deep. Traylor gets it out. John Spetz, slap pass up the boards. Tipped deep by Shandor as Hyder makes his way to the bench. And the Huskies get the extra attacker on. The net empty. Around it comes to Graf. It slides to Spetz. Over to Lucas, and he can't catch the pass. The Huskies have to tag up. He threads it through. Richard's over the line. Drop pass to Shandor. Shandor into the corner, lifts a backhander high and wide. Wood grabs the puck. 1 minute left in the championship. Out in front for Shandor on the cross-ice pass, deflecting wide. Cleared by Quinnipiac, and a race to the puck. This will not be icing. Quillen gets there. Wood plays goalie. The centering pass by Quillen doesn't get through. 45 seconds left. Out to Bradley. Bradley fires it across. Richard gets it deep. Shandor chases it. Moore is there for Quinnipiac. Up the wall. Graf looking to clear it. Thrown in front by Bradley. A save. The rebound Muldowney spins one and fires wide with under 30 seconds to go. Backhand pass is going to come out to Lucas. 23 seconds. Lucas shooting. Deflecting wide. Shandor behind the net. 20 seconds. Looking to stuff it to Bradley. In the corner with Wood. 15 seconds. He fires it on. Glove save. Duplessis.
14.3 to go. I believe UConn still has its timeout remaining. Huskies put them pressure on, but never really got a clean look at the net. So the face-off will come from the right of Duplessis. It'll be Tattle to take the draw, and now UConn does take their timeout with 14.3 to go as they'll draw up a play on the whiteboard, trying to come up with something. It'll be Tattle, it looks like, to take the face-off for UConn. You would expect Wood to be out there, Shandor, Bradley. Lucas would be probably the only blue liner. Wouldn't be surprised to see Salaminen out there. So give Quinnipiac credit, Randy. Once they took the lead, they, as you said, they play defense by playing offense. They don't take their foot off the gas. That's Rand Pecknold's philosophy, and it certainly worked to a T. So it's Bradley, Shandor, Wood, Richard, Muldowney, and Lucas. So it'll be Shandor on the draw. Wood playing kind of the bumper position with Lucas and Muldowney at the points, and now something wrong with the feather. There's something on the ice that Bradley pointed out, and one of the Briganti brothers picked it up.
Duplessis with 11 saves here in the third period, giving Quinnipiac the opportunity to come back. Many rise here at the XL Center. 10 seconds to go. Lucas shoots, deflected by Shandor, a save. The rebound, spin shot, Muldowney, and it pops out in front with 3 seconds left. It went just wide. One more chance for Bradley, a scramble, and a three-peat for the Bobcats. They run it back at Quinnipiac. The Quinnipiac Bobcats are the Connecticut Ice champions for the third straight year.
Well, UConn put on so much pressure in the final seconds there. They had their opportunities, but Vinny Duplessis and the Quinnipiac defense stood firm. Certainly a disappointing outcome as you watch. Huskies, Muldowney with the wraparound. Puck was behind the net. Richard tried to dig it out. Sent it in front for one last opportunity, but that was it. And Quinnipiac skates away with the CT Ice title as the players shake hands after what was a terrific college hockey game here at the XL Center. Neither team has anything to be disappointed with, as you see the players shaking hands in the line at center ice. But on this night, Quinnipiac just a skinch better. And Randy, we've talked about them. They have the heart of the champion, and that certainly proved out tonight. Down 3-1, momentum on UConn's side. This big crowd roaring their approval, and yet it was Quinnipiac that made the big plays when it counted, and Quinnipiac taking the championship for the third year in a row.
An outstanding championship game. The same score as last year, 4-3, Quinnipiac over UConn, and the Quinnipiac Bobcats win CT Ice 4, their third consecutive title. Vinny Duplessis, outstanding. Down the stretch, made a couple of big stops at the end. And the Quinnipiac Bobcats win it over UConn 4-3.
So the Bobcats continue their domination of this tournament and their domination of UConn. That's 8 straight wins for Quinnipiac against the Huskies. The last 3 of them coming in the CT Ice final. Both these teams now go back to conference play. We want to thank our director, Bobby Kaplan, and our entire Power Station production crew. For our producer, Noam Watt, and my partner, Randy Brochu, I'm Joe D'Ambrosio. We thank you for watching CT Ice 4-3. Quinnipiac beats UConn. Thanks for watching on SNY and UConn Plus. Have a good night, everybody.